So this really is a flavours of pie, and it's also a full meal because it does have the meat, vegetables and the starch as well. So we're firstly going to get our oil and we're going to heat it in a fry pan, and then we're going to get our meatballs and we're simply going to add those to the pan like this. Now I'm simply just going to get these all browned off right around, so just going to move them around the pan. So it'll probably take about 5 or 6 minutes just moving these around the pan until they're completely browned off. And then I'm simply going to add the chicken stock to the pan like this. I'm going to turn up the heat because we want that liquid to reduce down. And I'm going to add the vegetables to the pan also, so those flavours will all mix together. So while we're letting that reduce down, we're going to get our sheet of puff pastry, and I've got my baking dish that I'm going to make it in. I'm simply going to put the pastry in the dish and just trim it like this. So I used a fork just to pleat around the edges and prick the middle, and I used a knife just to trim off the excess pastry. Now I'm just going to beat 1 egg in a dish until it's well beaten like this. And then I'm simply going to take a pastry brush and then I'm going to brush the whole surface of the pie like this. Then I'm simply going to pop this into a hot oven, 180 degrees, for about 15 minutes until it completely puffs up and is cooked through and looks like this. I'm just going to press those edges down because they are quite puffed up like this. Now I'm going to go back to my meatballs, and as you can see they're bubbling away, and when that liquid reduces right down and looks like this, this is when you're going to add the cream cheese to the pan. And we're simply going to stir that through so that it mingles with that liquid, and it will actually start to thicken up and be a lovely cheesy sauce. So now we're going to add our oregano to the pan, and we're simply going to give that a really good stir through, and then I'm going to take it from the heat. Once it looks like this, I'm going to pop a lid on it, and we're just going to put it to the side while we make our mashed potato. So we're going to take our instant potato, we're going to add our butter and our salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of boiling water. Now I do it in 2 sections. I put half a cup in first, give it a good mash around, and then I'm going to add the other half a cup. I put it in 2 sections because all these mashed potatoes seem to take different amounts of water to get to the right consistency. So I just wait, put half in at a time, and then when I get to this beautiful thick creamy consistency like this, I know that it's going to be ready. So when you pick it up with the fork, it should be nice and thick like this and doesn't fall off the fork, and that's perfect. So now I'm going to take the beaten egg that we did earlier. I'm not going to put the whole lot on, I'm going to save some for the top of the pie, but the rest of it I'm going to put into that mashed potato, and I'm going to just mix it through like this. This actually helps that potato to set on top of the pie so that it's not soft and gooey. So now I'm going to go back to our meatballs, and as you can see that sauce is really thickened up. And I'm simply going to pop this into our pie dish so that it looks like this. Then I'm simply going to get that mashed potato, I'm going to put it over the top of the meatballs, and I'm just going to move it around the pan like this with a fork. And then I'm going to put that egg that was left, I'm just going to brush the top of the pan with that egg, and that'll just make that mashed potato nice and golden when it cooks through. So then I'm just going to pop that back into the oven, and I'm just going to let that become nice and golden on the top, about 10 minutes, and then it will look like this. And then I'm simply going to get a handful of mozzarella cheese. I'm just going to place that all over the top like this. I'm going to sprinkle some parsley over the top like this. And then I'm going to pop it back into the oven just to let that cheese melt down, about 5 minutes, and then we have it. It will look like this. Absolutely delicious, beautiful meal. And now I'm just going to remove a slice and show you what it looks like. So there we have it. Absolutely beautiful.